queries and constraints as well as ACIDs. Last part.
AC na.
ACIDs.
Acid properties.
Atomicity, consistency, isolation.
D.
Durability.
Durability means
Time.
time.
Durability, how much time?
Changes made to a database are persistence. We call it durability. Notes లో ఇంకేమన్నా రాసుకున్నారా ఏంది? చూసుకోండి మళ్ళీ రేపు తీసుకెళ్ళి నాకు కిరణ్ సార్ ఇట్టే చెప్పంటే నన్ను వర్షన్ ఎయిటీ వాళ్ళు జరిమేస్తారు. ఇట్లా చెప్తున్నారు మీరు. Changes made to a database are persistent. That is what exactly we call durability. Consistency means the changes we made to the database will reflect all the locations where the data exists. So, what is it then?
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, ma.
Sir, how are you, sir?
What, ma?
Sir, how are you, sir?
Fine. Thank you.
Sir,
Yeah.
I have a question. It is, okay, sir, how is it create a user authentication authorization to protect a user data?
Can you repeat?
How to create user authentication and authorization to protect, to handle user data?
Where? In databases?
Yes, Django, sir, Django. How to create?
Django. For that, you will be working with admin panel.
Admin panel. How create a इसमें admin panel? Just a modify admin panel and all the things.
That we will see. That we'll see.
Okay, sir. Okay, I'm waiting. So that's why I asked to you, sir.
Okay. No problem.
Thank you, sir.
So now let's see what are the different type of database users available. Depending on ఎందుకన్నా మంచి ఇది అడ్డం పెట్టుకుంది. Right. Depending on the involvement or how they are accessing the data or depending on their functionalities, database users, we can classify them in different ways. Actually, different databases, they will have different websites, they will describe in different ways. So coming to here, the first one we have is DBA. Actually, this is the highest role in database management. So where DBA, it stands for database administrator. As the name implies, he is the person who is having the complete control over the database. So that's why we are calling in admin means he is having all the rights on it. So what the DBA will do means, so this DBA, he will create users. Okay, now, so he will create users. So what are the different types of users available? He will create users and even create roles for them. And when you take a specific user, for what purpose you are using? Chusara developer వచ్చేసాడు. So what purpose we are using? Your class only. అంటే డోర్ ఓపెన్ చేయగానే నేరుగా మిస్ బాగ్ అనిపించింది, కన్ఫ్యూజ్ అయ్యాడు.
You told me to see over here.
Generally, when somebody asks which batch you are attending, so he say I'm Python batch, they say like React batch. But you 5 people, you say afternoon batch. Afternoon, every batch you are there, right? So create users and roles for them. Then he will involve in creating the tables and assigning permissions to them. So which user, what type of data he can access. Everything is under the control of him. Creating triggers, everything. Whatever the things we create, it is under the control of this database administrator. The next people we have here, they are analysts and designers. Analysts and designers. As the name implies, they are used for analyzing and designing the database. Database analysis. Analysis means what generally? SDLC, life cycle method we say. What is analysis? Analysis, design, and then construction, testing, implementation, like that, maintenance. So gathering the requirements. So whatever the requirements, whatever the functionalities we have to provide. So for those functionalities, they will gather the requirements. So that's why what we'll say SDLC method. So we have like first a preliminary investigation. So we call it system analysis. And then feasibility study, something will be there. Then they will go for analysis, gathering the requirements. Based on the requirements they gathered, they will go for design. Designing means they will construct models for it. The model can be in the form of a diagram or it can be an algorithm. It may be a prototype. When ISRO people are launching rockets, they will create small prototypes like that. So design, converting the design into some data, some programming language or something, some software, we call it coding. And once the coding is done, the next step here is testing the product. Once it is an error free, then it will go for implementation. And once implementation means they started using the product, finally they will go for maintenance. Maintenance. So whatever it is, maintenance means what? So once the product was under implementation, the client may find many defects. You have to clear them. I already told you what is the difference between error and defect. ఓకే చెప్పమ్మా ఫస్ట్ పర్లేదు చెప్పండి
Defect can be solved as well.
Product delivery అయిన తర్వాత ఏదైనా వస్తే defect.
Problems identified before the delivery of product, errors after the delivery of product, defects. అంటే మనం టెస్టింగ్ చేసాం కదా, మళ్ళీ ఎందుకు డిఫెక్ట్స్ వస్తాయంటే అదే మనం చెప్పేది. ఎప్పుడు యాజ్ ఎ డెవలపర్ వాట్ వీ విల్ డూ, ఇన్ అవర్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూ ఓన్లీ వీఆర్ ట్రైంగ్ టు రన్ ద డేటా. Okay, that's why I told you many times, even in working with the JavaScript, enter a number. Because we are the programmers, we will give number only. But what I told you, don't think like programmers, think like Misbah. Why should I give a number? That's what I told. That's the correct procedure. Actually, it's the correct procedure. Misbah, don't think like. So it's a good thing. Why should I give integer? 12.25. Welcome. Will it will work or not? And not only that, while building the product, we will test with dummy data. But once it goes to implementation, they are going to run the application with the original data. Once you start working with the original data, then the actual problems will come. We call them defects. అందుకనే టెస్టింగ్ లో you have two methods. ఆల్ఫా టెస్టింగ్, బీటా టెస్టింగ్ ఏంటది? రిగ్రెషన్ టెస్టింగ్, స్మోక్ టెస్టింగ్, plenty of testing.
It is an alpha beta itself.
Plenty of testings are there. When you take like unit testing, system testing, like that. Unit testing ante module wise testing. Integration testing ante when these modules are integrated as a whole, how the system is behaving. Alpha testing means testing the product at the developer side, alpha testing. Testing the product at the client side, beta testing. Okay, now, so when you go to client side, you will get the actual data. Then when you are working with actual data, then you will find the exact problems. Once the client finds some problems, then we call it defect, we go for maintenance. If they are small errors, we will correct them. Completely not working, lot of errors are coming. So again, they will start from preliminary investigation, analysis, design, like that. That's why we call it life cycle model. It's a continuous process. And once it was completely done, of course, even there are no defects, product, the client may want to add new requirements. So initially he has given some requirements, product delivered, later he has given new requirements, and if to add these new requirements also, you have to repeat the process. So that's why we call it life cycle. On the other hand, we have something called incremental model. Incremental model means what? Functionalities are added one by one. SDLC is implemented one by one phase. Like best example, you take MS Word. MS Word is a text editor. Okay, now text.
Versions will be added, Master.
అది కాదమ్మా. ఏం చెప్తున్నాను?
MS Word test editors.
పోయింది.
MS Word test.
ఒక్క నిమిషం. యా. MS Word, it is a word processor. Word processor. So actually, what is the main purpose of MS Word? To typing, editing some text. Editors and editors means I can add the text, I can remove the text, I can update the text, I can move the cursor from one place to another. These are called editing operations. That's why they are called editors. Initially, they created with editing operations. And to add that functionality, they will implement this life cycle. So first increment given. అంటే జనరల్లీ ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే ఎస్డిఎల్సి అనేది ఇట్ విల్ గివ్ యూ ఏ గుడ్ క్వాలిటీ ప్రోడక్ట్. బట్ ద మెయిన్ ప్రాబ్లం ఏమైంది డెవలపర్కి? ఎస్డిఎల్సి అనగానే వెళ్ళిపోయినట్టుంది. ఓకే, మళ్ళీ ఇంకో స్పీడ్ బ్రేక్. ఓకే, వీ హ్యావ్ డెలివర్డ్ ఇట్. సో ఎస్డిఎల్సి అడ్వాంటేజెస్, it will definitely generate us a good quality product. బట్ మెయిన్ ప్రాబ్లం, ఇది మనకి సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ అనే టెక్స్ట్ బుక్ లో చెప్తాడు. మెయిన్ ప్రాబ్లం ఇట్ ఈస్ యు మస్ట్ హ్యావ్ పేషెన్స్. ఇంకెక్కడ ఉంటుంది పేషెన్స్? సో యు మస్ట్ హ్యావ్ పేషెన్స్ అంటాడు. ఎందుకనంటే లైక్ ద ఆథర్ నేమ్ ఆల్సో ఐ కెన్ రిమెంబర్, రోజర్ ప్రెస్మ్యాన్. ఓకే, హీఈస్ ద ప్రెస్మ్యాన్. యాక్చువల్లీ హౌ దట్ బుక్ హ్యాస్ కమ్ అంటే, యాక్చువల్లీ this person, there is one person available, Roger Pressman. He is a very good programmer. ఎంత ప్రోగ్రామర్ అంటే లైక్ అవర్ తేజ ఆర్ చైతన్య, మిస్బా, ఇలా జోగద్మా, ఐఎమ్ టెలింగ్ సీరియస్లీ. అంటే వాట్ ఎవర్ ద టాస్క్ వీ గివ్, హీ విల్ డూ ఇట్ ఇమ్మీడియట్లీ. అంత క్వాలిటీ ప్రోగ్రామ్. ఓకేనా, క్వాలిటీ ప్రోగ్రామ్. వన్ డే వన్ క్లయింట్ హ్యాస్ కేమ్ టు హిమ్. వచ్చి వాడు ఏదో రిక్వైర్మెంట్ చెప్పాడు, ఐ వాంట్ టు హ్యావ్ సో అండ్ సో సాఫ్ట్వేర్, కెన్ యూ ప్లీజ్ బిల్డ్ అన్నట్టు. Then he will say, okay, no problem, it's a small product, I will build on it. So how much time you want? Ante, hey, it's a small product, I will deliver in 1 week. I'll deliver in 1 week. Okay, they made the agreement, they left it. Generally, we people will have human beings, particularly Indians, idigo original Indian. ఏంటయ్యా అన్నిసార్లు జాయిన్ అవుతున్నావు? So he said that, okay, 1 week I can do. But we people, we have some, our mentality something like general example చెప్తారు. ఇప్పుడు షీ వాంట్ టు హ్యావ్ సమ్ పంజాబీ డ్రెస్, బర్త్డే కమింగ్. సో ఏం చేసిందంటే ఒక క్లాత్ తీసుకొని షీ హాస్ గివెన్ టు ఏ టైలర్. కామన్ థింగ్, టైలర్ దగ్గరికి వచ్చి టైలర్ని అడిగింది హౌ మెనీ డేస్ అని చెప్తే వాడు మేడం ఐ విల్ గివ్ యూ ఇన్ 10 days అన్నాడు. బట్ వీ డోంట్ కీప్ వైట్, విల్ గో టు థర్డ్ డే, వాట్ ఈస్ ద అప్డేట్ అంటాం. అవునా కదా? హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్ మెంటాలిటీ. ఎంత దాకా వచ్చింది అంటాం. నో మేము ఇంకా స్టార్ట్ చేయలేదు, ఐ విల్ డూ. నెక్స్ట్ డే విల్ గో, వాట్ ఈస్ ద అప్డేట్ మేడం, ఈరోజే నీళ్ళలో పెట్టి ఆరేసాను అంటాడు. ఎందుకని? వెదర్ ఇట్ విల్ shrink ఆర్ నాట్ సంథింగ్. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ డే వాట్ ఈస్ ద అప్డేట్? లైక్ దట్ దిస్ ఫెలో కేమ్ ఆఫ్టర్ 5 days. వాడు కూడా హ్యూమన్ బీయింగే కదా. ఈ పర్సన్ దగ్గరకు వచ్చాడు. ఓకే, యూ టోల్డ్ దట్ విత్ ఇన్ 7 days యూ విల్ డెలివర్. సో వాట్ ఈస్ ద అప్డేట్ అంటే, నవ్ ఐఎమ్ ఇన్ ద ఫైనల్ స్టేజ్, సో డెఫినెట్లీ ఆన్ టైమ్ ఐ విల్ గివ్. 7th day he came. So sir, what is the update on that? So he is very seriously working something. So what happened ante, some bug has raised, so I'm trying to fix on it, you give me 2 more days on that. Okay fine, I will come on 10th day అని చెప్పి వెళ్ళి again after 3 days అంటే 10th day వచ్చాడు. Any update on that? So I'm not getting what's the error is, please give me 1 week time on that. Extended. The product was delivered after 6 months. ఎంత టైం ఇచ్చాడు? I'll deliver in 7 days అన్నాడు, but it has took for 6 months for him. Once the product was delivered, then he started thinking, I'm a good programmer, I'm an excellent programmer. Any complex problem I can do. Then why 7 days work I took 6 months there? Based on that, he started some research. So what he find is, developing an application is not just programming. Programming is a very small part in the development process. Apart from programming, we have to many tasks. And there he started make some research on that. Based on that, he released that book, Software Engineering, a Practitioner's Approach. Roger S. Pressman, he is the author. Worldwide accepted book. Any engineering student, any MCA student, any degree student, software engineering mandatory textbook is that. And we have some textbooks like data structures. What is that? Sarta Sahani. And when we have like networks, Tenenbaum is the author. So databases, Silber Shaj. Some authors, they are prescribed books. అంటే ఎగ్జాక్ట్ కంటెంట్ దే విల్ గివ్. సో దట్స్ వాట్ అంటే లైక్ దట్ ఇట్ ఇంక్లూడ్ సెవరల్ స్టేజెస్. సో హియర్ వాట్ హ్యాపెండ్, ఓకే ఇప్పుడు అదే వస్తాం. ఎస్డిఎల్సి ద ప్రాబ్లమ్ ఈస్, ఇట్ విల్ గివ్ యూ ఏ రియల్లీ క్వాలిటీ ప్రోడక్ట్, బట్ ఇట్ విల్ టేక్ లాట్ అమౌంట్ ఆఫ్ టైం. Because dependency, unless preliminary investigation done, I can't go to analysis. Unless analysis completed, I can't go to design. Unless design completes, I can't go to coding. But customers, they don't have that much patience. ఇందాకే చెప్పాం కదా, షర్ట్ ఇచ్చి రెండో రోజు పోతారు. So that's why what they will do, they will deliver the product in increments. ఫస్ట్ ఒక హ్యాండ్ కుట్టించి ఇది వాడుకోండి ఈ లోపు అంటాడు. నెక్స్ట్ ఇంకో హ్యాండ్ ఇచ్చి యూ యూజ్ దిస్. నెక్స్ట్ he will give pocket to you. Next they will give this collar to you. Finally, మిగతా పీస్ ఇచ్చి కుట్టుకోమని చెప్తాడు. దట్స్ వాట్ ఇంక్రిమెంటల్ మోడల్. So in this incremental model, MS Word is the best example. First, they have given the editing features and they released the product. What anxiety kada? Okay, first you use them. Later I will give the next one. Next, what they have added, spell checking, grammar checking, some extra features added. Okay, now you start using this next version. Later, they added inserting objects, tables, images, multimedia files, the next one. Next, grammar. So they have added one more thing. Like that gradually, and the product is developed in incremental model. That's what we call incremental model. And a best example is if you want to construct a house, the total building is constructed, then keys is given. Okay, that is SDLs. Incremental model means first they will give kitchen for you, use this. Next they will give bedroom, next they will give hall, next they will give washroom. Like that, one by one, they will deliver the product in releases. అట్లా మనకి చాలా ఉంటాయి. RAD model, prototyping model, spiral model. So many things are there. So these analysts and designers, they involve in gathering the requirements and designing the things. So during this process, they will use different models: entity relationship model, object-oriented model, and we have like relational model, like many things. Manamu koni chuddam. So that is the next set of users. And the third type of users, we call them direct or naive users. So these are the people who are actually working with the application. These are the people, of course, we have the third type of people available. We call them application programmers. They will write programs to perform the CRUD operations, like procedures, functions, triggers, cursors, different database concepts are there. They will write code for them. And once the product was built, direct users, you take railway reservation clerks, or these people in the bank, jail lo untaru chudandi. What are they? In the jail box, in a bank, people are sitting. Tellers. Okay, cashiers are tellers. Okay, na? So they are direct users. They are actually working with the application. And even you have like indirect users also. Indirect means they want to use the system, but the data in the system they will access. And they won't interact with the system directly, but still the database information they will access. Managers. Okay, managers also now they are having their systems. So that's what bank managers or railway managers. So now everyone having their, like when you take courier agents. Say courier agency is there, DTDC or something is there. The delivery boy will be there, Flipkart or whatever you have. What they will do, they will give you one bag of products and they will take a printout of the addresses. What address, what product is delivered. And they are not interacting with the system, but the data in the system they are using. Okay, these delivery boys, everything, they come under indirect users. Like that, different type of database users will be available who will be accessing our data. Now let's see how to construct a database. And actually this part is important for us to know. So now let's see the data models or the database models. What is a model?
Design check before design is also called as models. Type design.
What is a model means? A model is nothing but it is the representation of a system in some form. Whatever the system we are going to construct in the future, that system we are going to create a representation for it, a blueprint for it, and that is what exactly we call it a model. A model can be a diagram, like a house plan. It may be okay.
In that he will show the plans wherever you want to go.
Really, I didn't watch it, that movie. Avuna? Sare, one thing I will do. I'll stop the class, I'll watch movie, then I will explain tomorrow.
Tomorrow you can watch that.
Tomorrow I can watch. Only in Kaidi number movie 150. Strange, right? It may be an algorithm, whatever we write there, flowchart, something like. It may be a small prototype, like I said, the models which the scientists will create. Even when a building is going to construct a huge apartment, they will create. Okay, you can see the Amravati prototype like that, how the building looks like. Everything we call it a model. Actually, to work with the database, plenty of models available, but I can't remember all the models. But here we are going to work with two important models. They are, one is the ER model, second one is the relational model. These are the two important things we need to know. ER model, second one is relational model. So first of all, let's see what is this one ER model. ER, it stands for entity relationship model. ER model, it stands for entity relationship model. So generally, this model is used in database analysis phase. While gathering the requirements are better, they are represented in the form of an ER model here. It is used in database analysis phase. So what is this model means? We can say it is nothing but it is a pictorial. It is a pictorial representation of a database and a diagrammatic representation of a database. The database architecture, it is represented in the form of a diagram in this model. That's the ER model here. So here, what are entities? What are entities means? Entities, we can say, like what are entities means? We can say something like these are real world objects in a business context. Real world objects in a business context and related to a business organization. Whatever the things we see, we call them objects. So these entities, they can represent a person, they may represent a place, they may represent a thing. ఏమన్నారు? Rectangle లో ఉంటుందా? Okay. Or an activity. Anything it can represent like this. A person, place, thing or an activity. Like for example, మనం ఇంతకుముందు చెప్పుకున్నాం కదా, banking example. When we take a banking system, okay, when we take a person, who are persons in a bank? So customer is one person, employee is one
He is a
person. They are
person.
entities. Things. So when we take next one, place. A bank will have several branches. So it is an entity. And for that only we are maintaining the data. So a place is an entity. Next, what are the things managed or maintained in the bank? Table ki మనం ఏం డేటా మెయింటైన్ చేస్తాం అంటే ఎంత వెయిట్ ఉంది, ఎంత హైట్ ఉంది. So
Records,
accounts, loan,
records, loan,
deposit, that's what things అంటే అవి. Supermarket items. So that's what. Then it may represent an activity. So what are the activities performed in a bank?
filling the form, withdraw the amount.
All activities under one word. Yesterday I told you.
Transaction.
Like this. So these are called entities. And every entity will have a set of properties we call attributes. Attributes are nothing but these are the characteristics of an entity. Every entity will have a set of characteristics called attributes. Like for example, when you take customer, what are the attributes of a customer? Every customer will have some ID. Generally, it is our Aadhaar number. They are identified by their Aadhaar number. In Western countries, we call them emissared DBMS book law. Customer ID, what is that value? నేను మేలు కదమ్మా SSN, Social Security Number, they call it. In Western countries, here we are calling Aadhaar number. In other countries, they will call SSN, Social Security Number. So customer ID, customer name, customer city, address, phone number, whatever they are. Similarly, when we take like branch, what are the characteristics here? So branch name, branch code, and then we have like IFSC code.
a code of branch.
Okay, na branch location, branch address, branch phone number, like this. When we take account, every account will have some ID, what type of account it is, open date, existing balance, like this. And when we take like a transaction ID, everything will be given some number, transaction type, payments, deposits. అంటే అది ఏదైనా కానివ్వండి, అది ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ టైప్ అంటాం. Even you are paying the loan, it also comes under deposit. And when they are giving us payments, withdrawals, transaction type, transaction date, that is what exactly transaction ID.
That's what, debit card, credit card, that all will concern.
Transactions, transaction date, transaction date, and then something like particulars and details about the transactions. Like every entity, it will have a set of characteristics, we call them attributes. The purpose of ER model is whatever the database we are going to construct for an organization, these analysts, database analysts, okay, వాళ్ళు ఇచ్చేసేది, what they will do, what are the different entities we have to maintain. Every entity, what are the characteristics available, properties they have to identify. And the entities, if they are associated, and if there is any relationships between them, the corresponding relationships, they are represented in the form of a diagram. So that is what the purpose of ER model here, like this. Once we say diagram, so how this diagram will be constructed? So what are the different symbols that are used? ఇప్పుడు చెప్పండి, ఇందా నుంచి ఏదో చెప్తున్నారు కదా. Diamond circle, diamond braces, circular braces. మీ సిస్టమ్ కూడా ఇంతే ఫాస్టా? ఏంటి?
It will take too much of time, sir.
Okay.
Opening also. Anybody don't open, sir. Maybe that problem, sir. That problem.
Okay, fine. So now, what are the symbols that are used here? When we take here, entities, they are represented. entities, they are represented in the form of rectangle. And attributes, they are represented in the form of ellipses. Relationship between entities, they are represented in the form of diamond symbol. And connectors, we can use some lines to connect them. So how to draw an ER diagram? Just I will show you a small example how to draw an ER diagram. So steps for constructing an ER diagram. And as a developer, you are not going to do all the things. But if you have the idea, ఎప్పుడు కూడా చూడండి, what is the difference between a student learning programming from a computer institute and from an academic organization? Chala difference ఉంటుంది. When you are learning Java here, you will be learning Java only. When you are learning C here, you are learning C only. But when you are learning programming from an academic, not only Java, you will be learning operating systems, you will be learning software engineering, you will be learning networking, you will be learning DBMS. These are the pillars. ఇప్పుడు ఐటీ వాళ్ళకి ట్రైనింగ్ ఇస్తారు చింతకాయల రవి. సో వాట్ దే సే, మీ ట్రైనింగ్ ఇస్తే నేర్చుకుంటా అంటాడు. ఆల్రెడీ వచ్చిన వాళ్ళకి ఇచ్చేదే ట్రైనింగ్ అంటాడు వాడు. అంటే వాట్ దే విల్ గివ్ ట్రైనింగ్? ఐటీ వెన్ యూ జాయిన్, వాట్ దే విల్ గివ్ ట్రైనింగ్? Not Java, not .NET, nothing. They will teach you like DBMS, operating systems, networks, or basic things they will give. Wipro or TCS, they will give you some video references and ask you, okay, you learn on them. And we'll keep an exam, you attempt it. Allow ఉంటుంది, like that. So these three things also they will train us. Because they are main. How to build a good quality. ఇందాకే చెప్పాం కదా, 7 days work, it took 6 months. Because he don't know the concepts of software engineering process. So that's why they are important. Akkada ee subject అనేది it will help you. So now what are the steps we have to follow? I will show you here. The first one, the first step here is identify entities. So here I am going to work with 2 entities here. So when we take the banking example, customer is an entity and then account is an entity. Generally, entities are written in uppercase. It's not a rule. Entities are singulars. Customers, employees, you don't give like that. Customer, account, student, like that. So the first step is identify the entities. The next step here, it is identify attributes for each entity. Okay, identify attributes for each entity. And for every entity, we have to identify the attributes here. Like for example, when we take customer, okay, let's try to identify some attributes. That's why these type of things, board is a better option where you can explain. Actually, I'm not good in paint, but at some stage I have to teach core Java for a student in US. So no board available. So she started training me. అంటే నేను జావా చెప్పి ఆమె నాకు పెయింట్ చెప్పింది. సో కస్ట్ ఐడి, కస్ట్ నేమ్, and then cust city. That's it. And coming to account here. So actually there are number of entities will be there. Some tables they may have even 30 to 40 attributes also. Chala untai depending on your project. When you go to real time, plenty of things will be there. So when you draw, when you start drawing that diagram, it will be a very huge diagram there. So here for account, I am going to take something like account ID, next account type, open date, starting balance, whatever it is, we have created them like this. Huh? So first we have to identify entities, then entities, we have to identify attributes. Identify the identifier attribute, or technically we call it primary key. So what is this primary key value? Okay, now. So one day I have some work. So I went to some engineering college. I want to speak with my son. So I went to Narayana Engineering College. There some person at the entrance stopped me. So who are you? So why you are here? What's the purpose? So I want to talk to my boy like that. So who is your son? My son is he's a engineering student here. I already went to engineering college and I told that my son is studying engineering, bring him. Everyone is studying engineering there. One person, he went to Tirumala. So his kid was last day. He started asking everyone, ma abbayini chusara, ma abbayini chusara. So how is ante gundu kottukontaడు. Everyone you find with gundu in Tirumala. So who is your son? So give clarity. Then I said that, my son, he is studying computer science, CSE. Ante some data was filtered. No need to search in EEE, ECE, MBA, MCA like that. Only CSE. But they said, sir, in CSE we have 4 years available. So which year your son is studying? Then I said he is studying 3rd year. Okay, next day. Some more filtration happened, but they said that, sir, in 3rd year, we have 3 sections A, B, C. So which section is your son? Then I said he is studying B section. Again, 2 sections cleared, filtered. So B section, sir, actually there are 75 students available. So who is your son? Then I said my son name is Abhinav. Then he entered the classroom and he shouted, who is Abhinav here? 5 students raised. More than 1 student may have the same name. Then they said, sir, there are 5 students there. Who is your son? My son ID is 10101100. Now you can find that person. More than 1 student may join the same course, same branch. They may be studying the same year, same section. They may have the same name also, but no 2 students will have the same roll number. That is what exactly primary. So what is the advantage of this identifier attribute? When we know the value of this attribute, you will get all the details about. When I know your roll number, I can get all your details, your attendance details, your examination details, how many books you have taken in library, how many you have not returned, how many items you eat in your canteen, how many not paid. So your scholarship details, everything I will get, A to Z. So they are getting everything about us. Okay, that's what. So when I know some account, ఇప్పుడు bank కి వెళ్ళాము, sir, I want to deposit money, ఇవ్వండి జోబులో పెట్టుకుంటాడా? So what is your account number? And when they know your account number, they can get all the details of it. When they know loan number, they will get all the details. That is what exactly we call primary key. Primary key values, how they should be, they must be unique. దీంట్లో మళ్ళీ ఇంకో కాన్సెప్ట్ చెప్తాను చూడండి. Generally, this will happen mostly in Vijayawada railway station. Actually, we have some trains like Charnar Express and we have Godavari Express, Krishna Express. We have some trains there. అంటే మెనీ ఉన్నాయిలేండి, ఆ మూడే కాదు, మళ్ళీ అమ్మాయి అడుగుతుంది, అట్లా కాదు, మెనీ ట్రైన్స్ ఆర్ there. But there are situations that there is a lot of confusion these trains will create. Best example, when you take Krishna Express from Adilabad to Tirupati, Tirupati to Adilabad, 2 trains will be running. Both the trains, they will meet Vijayawada at 1 o'clock. maximum cases, 99%, afternoon 1 p.m. boat will be at Vijayawada. Similarly, Godavari Express also same. Night around 11 or 11:30, the train towards Vizag, the train towards Secunderabad, both will come at a time. So there also a big confusion. Like for example, so right now I am in Vijayawada. So I want to go to Nellore. Actually, I want to go by this is Krishna Express. So now what happens here? The Krishna Express towards Hyderabad, that is, okay, towards Nellore. Okay, generally they will halt it at platform number 1. Okay, maximum cases. The Krishna Express, which is towards Secunderabad, they will keep it on platform number 10. Okay, now the case is, I entered railway station from platform number 10. Other side nunchi vacha. I was in a hurry, already late. I was in a hurry, I was already late. Once I entered, I asked one person there, Misbah akkada undanamata akkada. Aame edo work meeda veltundi. Amma, where is Krishna Express ante, this is Krishna Express ani. Okay, I went and I sit in my chair. After 6 hours, where I am? Secunderabad. After 6 hours, I am in Secunderabad. Ante. So that's why you see how they will give announcement. Train number from Secunderabad to Tirupati. They will tell that clarity also. Okay, this actually it's not a joke. Many people, they will be facing the same issue. Okay, na issue also many times. Even this train also, Narayanadri or Chennai Express also, sometimes both trains will come at a time at Guntur. A big confusion for them. So that's why train number they will tell, train name they will tell, source to destination station, everything they will tell. Antega Krishna Express platform number 1 అని చెప్పొచ్చు కదా, చెప్పరు కదా. Adilabad to Tirupati or Tirupati to Adilabad, they will give you the clarity there. So that is what exactly primary key. You can get the complete details about that using it. Okay, na? So that's one thing. Next, generally primary key attributes, it's not a rule, but most of the cases they are numeric values. So in the customer table, customer ID is the primary key. Account table, account ID is the primary key. Primary keys are represented with underline symbols. ఇంత డిస్కషన్ లో కూడా ఫోన్ల మీద దృష్టి ఉంటే ఏం చెప్తాను చెప్పండి. So the next step here is establish relationships between entities if possible. Compulsory కాదు. If there is a possibility that two entities can be associated, establish the relationship under. So generally customer and account are related, right? Accounts are maintained by whom? Account holders and never nantam customers. Even if an employee is having an account, we have to call him customer only. They will do all the things there. So in that case, they will be treated as customers only. Okay, na? So account and customer, are they related or not? Account and employee, are they related or not? Customer and employee, are they related or not? No. Customer is not at all related to employee. Okay, na? So I'm not talking about normal relationships, but business point of view, they are not related. So because these two entities are related to one another, we will try to establish relationship among them. So we'll try to connect customer and account like this. If possible, name the relationship also. If possible, name the relationships also. The relationship here is the depositor relationship. Account holder anachu, or technically they will call depositors. The people who have taken loans, we call them borrowers. Okay, now account holders, depositors, loan takers, we call them borrowers. So we have to establish relationship among them. Are you boring, man? So that's what. Now the fifth step here is identify types of relationships between entities. Types of relationship between entities. What is the meaning of types of relationships? So, two entities are related in three different ways. One to one, one to many,
One to many,
many to
many to
one,
many,
many to many. But many to one is not there. We used to call
many to
one
many.
to many only. So, one to many to many, like that. So they are represented like this. These relationships represented like this. One to one. Here one, there also one. Okay, now one to many, many to many. Like for example, you take something like patient and bed. Even hospital database, they will maintain a table for beds also. Okay, bed number, bed type, where it is located, and status of the bed, occupied or not. So now when we take the relationship between patient and bed, now see, a patient assigned how many beds?
Only one.
Okay, na? A patient is assigned only one bed. And from patient to bed, it is one. We have to keep one here. From bed to patient, on a bed, how many patients are there?
Only one.
Not government hospital. Okay, now generally there will be one only. You don't go to SWIMS or Gandhi hospital. Okay, now. So there on a bed you can see many people. So 1 to 1. Next, when we take customer to account. So how many loans a customer can take? How many loans a customer can take? Many
Many
loans.
loans.
On his salary, he can take a personal loan. On his land, he can take mortgage loan. By keeping his jewelry, he can take jewelry loan. So a person can take multiple loans. A loan is maintained by how many persons?
Only one.
Many.
Only one. A loan is maintained by only one. But that's why see here, from loan to customer, it is one. From customer to loan. A customer can have many loans. A loan is responsible to only one customer. Why? Because suppose these two people, they started a firm. Okay, you three people, you started a firm, and for your firm, you got some loan. The banker will ask you, who is the authorized person for this? If you say we three means if you don't pay any amount, if they ask Harita, she will tell on Misbah. If they ask Misbah, they will tell on Chaitu. So like that. That's why only one person will be responsible. So that's why a loan is made responsible to only one customer. Next, customer and account. How many accounts a customer can have? Multiple. For my personal savings, I can create a savings account. If I am the director of a company, I can create a business account, current account. For future savings, I can create a recurring account. A customer can have multiple accounts. Next, an account managed by how many customers? One account maintained by how many customers? Many. Like in bank, you have joint account where a husband and wife can open. So anyone can, both can maintain. But a husband deposits, she withdraws. Debit card is with her. Okay. So that is what. So from account to customer, it is many. And a many to many. Like student and course. What
Many to
what
many.
type of relationship between student and course?
Many to many. Many to many.
Many to
Many.
many. Okay. Student and faculty.
Many to one. Many to one.
Student. Many to
Sir,
many. A
many to
student
many.
can join many
Many to many.
courses, each course by
Many to
a
many.
different faculty. A faculty can take classes for many students, many to
Many
many.
to many.
Hmm? Okay, so that's about that. That is the type of relationship we call. And finally, what we have to say, it is that is identified modality. So what is this modality? Means we can say like this, modality specifies whether relationship between two entities are optional. They use the value 0, or mandatory, the value is 1. Whether relationship between two entities are compulsory or not, that we can specify through modality. Okay, now that we call it modality. Like for example, patient and bed. A patient must be allotted a bed. Avuna? Patients must be allotted beds. Yes or no?
Yes.
ఎక్కడ నేల మీద పడుకోబెడతారేంది డైలీ పేషెంట్స్ but a patient bed is mandatory, right?
Yes, sir.
So it's not mandatory.
Patient means cold also it comes under.
Okay, you got cold when you go to doctor, they will, it's not a private hospital.
That will take medicine of that.
Suppose you went to doctor, you thought that there may be flu or there may be that COVID or something, you have many things in your mind. And then you will go to doctor. So patient to bed, it's not compulsory. Ante, so from patient to bed, it is optional. From patient to bed, it is optional. You have to write it like, when there is a bed, there must be a patient. డాక్టర్ ఉండడుగా బెడ్ మీద ఉంటాడా ఏమో మిస్బా పేషెంట్కి వచ్చిందంటే ఖచ్చితంగా వాడికి ఒక బెడ్ కావాలి. వెన్ దెర్ ఈస్ ఎ బెడ్ దేర్ మస్ట్ బి ఎ పేషెంట్ కదా, అవునా? బెడ్ ఉందని పేషెంట్లు వస్తారా? ఇప్పుడు కోర్స్ ఉందని మీరు జాయిన్ అయ్యారా, మీ రిక్వైర్మెంట్ ఉందని వచ్చారా? అది. సో బెడ్ ఉందని పేషెంట్ రాడు, ఇంకా మనమే ఏదైనా లారీ తీసుకెళ్ళి వాడి బుద్ధి తీసుకొని పడేయాలంతే. ఓకే, సో when there is a need, then the patient will come. And from bed to patient also, it's optional. And we are keeping the value 0. A customer must borrow a loan. Optional. Bank customer ante compulsory loan undali kada, untunda? No. A student must join a course.
Optional.
A student must join a course. ఇప్పుడు చెప్పండి కరెక్ట్ గా చూద్దాం.
Optional, sir.
Optional says
It is optional. So who are called students?
for learning says.
Who joins a course, they are called students, right?
Yes, sir.
Student అని ఎప్పుడు అంటాం? When a person comes for inquiry, do I call him student? When
No,
a
sir.
person comes for some inquiry, can I call him a student?
No, sir.
Who joins a course, he is a student.
A student.
జాయిన్ అయితేనే కదా స్టూడెంట్ అంటాము.
Course must say. If he
ఇంకా దేనికి వస్తాడు? మంచినీళ్ళు తాగేదానికి వస్తాడా స్టూడెంట్?
If we want any one type of course, he can get the source from many type of items, like YouTube, Google. If he's particularly want any education, then there comes under.
Student means he joined a course. College students, engineering students, medical students, version IT students. So why they are students? Because they joined a course.
Already joined the course.
If there is a
that's
course, there must be a student, right? From
Yes, sir.
course to student to course, it is compulsory 1 kada. Course lo join aitene we call him student. From course to student, ఓకేనా? కోర్స్ ఉందని మీరు రాలేదు కదా, పాపం వెర్షన్ ఐటీలో ఎవరు జాయిన్ అయ్యట్లేదని మీరు రాలేదు. బికాస్ యూ నీడ్, యూ జాయిన్డ్, రైట్? సో ఫ్రమ్ కోర్స్ టు స్టూడెంట్, ఇట్ ఈస్ ఆప్షన్. Similarly, a customer must have an account. Rule? No. Earlier it's a rule. Previous days,
sir.
if you want to do any banking transaction, you must have an account. But nowadays it's not a rule. I have my account in IOB, but I have taken loan from HDFC. There I don't have any account.
Yes,
I
sir.
don't have any account, but I am taking there. Okay, so from customer to account, it is optional. But accounts are given to customers only. Okay, so from account to customer, it is mandatory. From account to loan, it is from loan to customer, it is mandatory. So this is how the ER diagram is constructed. So by using these steps, here we have taken only two entities. But open Google and you type ER diagram for a banking system, ER diagram for a supermarket, a very big diagram you are going to do. That's it. And apart from that, here we are seeing some other symbols like strong entity versus weak entity. So I don't want to draw them again and again. So directly I'm explaining the diagram. Strong entity and weak entity. What is it means? If an entity has a primary key, we call it strong entity. If an entity has no primary key, we call it weak entity. Like example, student is a strong entity, roll number, primary key. Account is a strong entity, account number. Train is a strong entity, train number. Okay, na train number untundi kada. No two trains in India will have the same number. Okay, employee is a strong entity because employee number. That's it. But when you take something like dependent, these organizations, what they will do, not only the employees, they will maintain the details of dependents also. Why? Because some benefits will be there. Insurance or something, they will be given to the dependents also. The facilities. So who are the dependents of the employee? They will maintain the details. What details they will maintain? Dependent name, dependent gender, dependent date of birth.
Around here.
Huh?
Here also they will use the Aishwarya taking those.
Actually, Aishwarya Rai yesterday asked it, but she didn't tell that. నిన్నే అడిగాను నిన్న కాల్ చేసింది. No, she got some doubt in jQuery, so she called me yesterday. But I didn't ask it about that. మనకెందుకమ్మా Aishwarya Rai గురించి?
Here on here also they will take a loans.
Okay, dependents, they are maintaining the hairs also for dependents. How long hair they are having? Undadamma. Technically, it's not there. I'm telling about dependents. Dependent means dependent name, dependent gender, dependent date of birth. So the children of one employee, the children of another employee, they can have same name, right? Undacha? Okay. If
Yes,
an
sir.
employee has a twins, date of birth are same. An employee may have both boy children or girl children. Where is the primary key? I want to find a specific record. Can I find a primary key there? No. So that's why we call it a weak entity. That's why we call it a weak entity. Weak entity is represented with this double rectangle symbol. And the association between strong entity and weak entity, double diamond symbol here. And what is the relationship? One to many. One employee has many dependents. Okay. And modality, employee must have a dependent. Is that a rule? But you joined some, you got some job there. So you must have dependents, any rule? Of course, parents are dependents there. Okay, we can, but it's not compulsory. But if there is a dependent, he is depending on some employee. And from dependent to employee, mandatory. Okay, now that's it. Similarly, when we take attributes, we can have attributes like this: simple attribute versus composite attribute. If an attribute can be divided into smaller ones, composite attribute cannot be divided simple attribute like address. And yesterday I told you address means they won't maintain address. They'll maintain door number, address 1, address 2, street, location, city, pin code, state, country, like many things. So it is divisible into many things. But gender, can we divide gender? Gen 1 entity, dir 1 entity. Not possible. Okay, na? Like date of birth, we can. Day, month, year, we can. Salary, no. Designation, என்னமா? అదృష్టం బాగుండి మీరు ఇండియాలో పుట్టారు కానీ అమెరికాలో పుట్టింటే అసలు అమెరికాలో ఇండియాలో జాబ్స్ చేస్తుండే వాళ్ళు అసలు. దే ఆర్ మిస్సింగ్ యూ మిస్ బా. అమెరికన్స్ ఆర్ మిస్సింగ్ యూ లాట్. Tonight I will speak with Biden. Huh? Okay, so that's it. Next, attributes can be classified into two types, single valued and multi-valued. If an attribute can hold only one value, single valued. If an attribute can hold more than one value, multi-valued. For example, gender. How many genders you can have? ఆలోచిస్తున్నారు దీనికి. One. Salary, date of birth, one. Hobby, more than one. Qualification, more than one. So course joined, more than one. So it's a multi-valued attribute. Similarly, the final thing here, derived attribute. ఇక్కడ నేను ఏజ్ అని ఎందుకు చెప్పలేదంటే ఏజ్ cannot be created as an attribute. It should be created as a function. Derived attributes, they should be created as functions. Derived means what? The values of these attributes, they are derived. They are taken from another attribute. We don't enter the values directly. A student result I am calculating. Roll number, name, marks I will enter. Will I type total marks, average marks, result? No, they should be calculated. Can I enter the age directly? No, it should be calculated. Current date minus date of birth by 12, something you will get. So that's what here we call them derived attributes, represented in the symbols like this. So this is what the first step we have to implement while constructing a database. This is what the first step we have to do there, ER model. And this analysis, this model, whatever we have done, it is converted in the form of tables, and that's what we are calling it relational model. Once the relational model is done, then you will go for construction. You can go with Oracle, you can go with MySQL, you can go with SQL Server, whatever the database you want, you can meet there. So that's about that. So in the tomorrow session, we will see what is this relational model, what is a relation, what is primary key,